most overpicked support of the current meta is going to be picked up by Reason.
Yeah, and Nier doesn't really play her too much. I haven't seen. I think like the other teams get it first. They don't really prioritize it. So, he's a great support here. I'm interested to see how he functions with the hero. Um,
Yeah, I'm still a bit confused though, because Nier did used to play the semi-support for Reason, and he has, you know, transitioned into this sometimes a support and sometimes a semi-support.
it
So it
seems,
might just be that they pick up the Behemoth, for example, which is probably his best hero.
yeah, that, and I'm pretty confident. And he plays a mean Andromeda. I'll give him that much. I've seen it.
Just making sure to save those people every single time.
He
Yeah,
does. He knows when to do it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times you swap the Andro and it's just completely unnecessary to sacrifice yourself, but he'll time it perfectly and make sure that they still have an impact on the fight.
yeah, and Morax is going to be the second pick. We were mentioning it before how it's been being picked up more often nowadays. Not in the final, not in the final game, of course, because of the Boxy playing that Devourer. And I gotta say, he
Ooh,
played that so well.
he did. It was a delight to see that hero, and showing that even though he's not very conventional, that he he was great in that matchup. Whether it was stopping the Tempest ultimates, occasionally saving his teammate, um, put the shrunken head on him. It was a perfect starting initiation for Behemoth to follow up. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was definitely a great combo there. And Magnus, I mean, is that going to be in the hands of Zane or Nier? Usually it's in the hand of Zane, where they put, well,
Lately, Zane has been playing a lot of the initiation heroes, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up the
but he's
Magnus
also
go to
been
him.
playing carries. Like he played the Sandwraith the other day, as well as the what was it? The Swiftblade, I think. So it's not strange to see him playing those heroes as well.
It's true. So at the very least, Reason using that to their advantage and not really giving up their lineups. Well, that's gonna be good, and they're gonna have to do something here because I wish I had the stats. Reason's such a good team, but Druid seems to have their number. Druid's consistently just dominates Reason gaming, and I think they're gonna have to figure out something because it's inevitable that they're gonna come up against Druids at DreamHack, one way or another.
Yeah, for sure. And these first three picks coming out from Legion look really, really strong. Like the Puppet Master for the solo lane, or even the tri lane, and then Tremble on top of that for the global ganking presence, and then Moraxis for just a really solid mid laner. The Hellborn is a
Yeah.
bit weaker in that regard because Moira is not the best support against mana planes. The Shards of Harken does do a lot, but he doesn't bring the same as, let's say, a Pyromancer or even a Glacius.
Yeah, the auto attack presence is weak, and just overall he's not that great at harassing. He shines more in terms of rotating to the other lanes and having a gank presence, but
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's Druid seems
Engineer.
pretty greedy too, though. I mean that lineup, that's gold hungry right there. Those three heroes all require farm massive amounts of it, and that's not even a jungle hero picked yet.
Yeah, but it really ultimately depends on how much Moraxis is going to farm because he just needs his PK and then he's pretty much done. So I don't think he is that gold hungry or anything, but the Puppet Master and Tremble certainly are. I mean, with Quincy's stats, you can always see that Puppet Master generally doesn't have that good of a time as a carry unless he has over 500 GPM, and that's not that easy to get with that hero.
Yeah. So Zippy's gonna ban out Pharaoh, Valkyrie, taking out suicide options here, even though um, I mean Magnus could be running in the suicide position if it goes to Zane, but that's what they're prioritizing. And the Ember Boy's taking out a lot of the supports, seeing that Druid still hasn't picked one up. Rhapsody, Empath, and Andromeda.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
A chipper ban. Matt H. Right? Omi plays a
Yeah.
lot of chipper, so
Yeah. Exactly. But they banned out the Andromeda, like Reason banned out a bunch of the supports, but I'm curious to why they didn't ban out Engineer, for example, because he's just so strong in those dual lanes, even with a Meraxis and Puppet Master, and Luna is another one of those heroes that is gaining a bit of popularity these days,
yeah.
especially with BMG. So if they manage to lock someone down with the Tremble, global gank, Luna can just power through, and Fusen showed that last game that it does a lot of work, even in the later stages of the game, being that extra bit of damage they need for the kill.
Certainly does when you're a boss and land 90% of your power throws. Easier said than done, but yeah, the hero definitely has potential, and in the dual lane, you don't want to mess with her early game. It's just relentless harassment from that hero.
Exactly. So it's really going to be interesting to see how Nair is going to do, because I feel like he's going to be playing the Magnus this game as the semi-support.
Yep, so Hellborn team still needs to grab up a jungler for Tenkafe, and what kind of options do you think they'll be looking at? I mean, Ophelia, Parasite, and Warbeast all taken out. There's not too many other possibilities, or maybe they skip it altogether.
Yeah, the jungler in this game, I don't, as I said, I think Nair is going to be playing the semi-support Magnus, so I don't see there being a jungler.
Okay.
And it's rather just going to pick up a strong ranged carry. Like, was it Reason who picked up Forsaken Archer, or was it Druids?
They play a lot of Corrupted. I think they've picked up FA in the past. I don't. No, no. The last series you're talking about, it was Druids. That
Yeah,
was
okay.
Probusk on FA, and it didn't vie very well.
Mm. But even so, they can pick up the Master of Arms as more of a semi carry because they do have the Swift Blade as well.
So
But
Balfagor and
that could be a jungle Buffagor now that I see it, and then a Magnus is going to be getting some secured farm. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to run this Buffagor.
yeah, definitely. And if anything, the way to punish a lineup, like I feel Druids does have a greedy lineup, even though Maraxis isn't that hungry. Tremble and Puppet, they do take a while to get to their full potential, and you don't want to take it late against those two heroes for sure. So maybe, maybe the Balfagor with the push potential. We also seen Reason pick up a Polywog Priest the other day. So I mean, if they try something crazy to take the game early on, I wouldn't be surprised there. They're gonna have to try something different against
I'm
Druids.
not sure that I like this Revenant at all. Engineer would have been so much of a better option. Revenant is so reliant on getting those ganks off with the invis that I'm not sure how it's going to go.
Very true, and Swiftblade not very susceptible to Revenant himself either with the Blade
But,
Frenzy. Yep.
yeah. It is great for counter pushing, of course, but I don't know. Like Revenant with limited farm feels very weak. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's a lot of melee there.
yeah, and it is going to be a summer sport Magnus, and Owned Me is going to go mid with the Kraken and then Suicide Balfagor. All right, that Tankafet gonna
No,
be playing the
no
semi.
they swapped Magnus to Tankafet. Okay.
All right, so like we have seen Nair played in the past, of course, but I guess Tankafed really has taken over as that semi support and Nair as the full support.
Yeah, and they've had a lot of success recently. I think it's been a good change for them.
Yeah, I really don't think it has harmed them that much because they used to have very limited forest options. The Druid's strat pause, as always.
Absolutely. I mean, can't blame them. You're spending a lot of your attention on focusing on the draft and everything. Now is the time when you take a look at the heroes, decide how they're going to lane it, and your best option. Not to mention, it's always good to have a backup plan. If they lane it differently, have a couple of options so you can rotate quickly on the fly. It's really hard to think about that sort of thing when you're so involved in a game like Han where it's taking like 90% of your attention just to lane. You know what I mean? I really do think it is a strategy pause. I mean, there's a lot
I
to
mean,
consider in a game like this.
they do this almost every single time, though. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not like every single time right before the game they need to go to the
Maybe they're
bathroom, like
maybe
that.
they're getting hyped. They're getting all up in their circle, starting the druids chant or whatever it may be,
The Druids chant. I can just see them sitting in their Skype call going like, "Muh, muh," but no. Uh,
channeling their inner druid. They're all going beast mode right now.
yeah. I wonder how Zane is going to be doing versus a Tremble, though, in a 1v1 lane.
I think the Reason's going to have a hard time in general in the laning phase, and I think their draft screams that they have to have a really successful one to win this. So you're going to have to see near perfect execution by Reason. I'm not a fan of the draft against Druids' draft, so They are pretty tanky overall, so they got that going for them. They may not die as easily as the Aluna and the Revenant picks, or they're pretty easily bursted. But
Yeah. Magnus is really quite a strong tool in those tri lanes, though, because of the fact that you can almost always stun multiple targets. And then there's the Swift Blade on top of that with a lot of the damage coming out from the spin. So if Yugobik, Iceland, Gogo, and Zibe manage to play it well enough, they have the range to out-harass the Hellborn team, but if they get caught, they could be in a lot of trouble. Shards of Harkin, of course, being able to be applied onto Tankafet, making sure that those hit as well afterwards. But they don't have anything as substantial as like an empath wall, though. So I would still give the favor of the tri lane to the Legion side.
yes, sir. Phone calls.
Very important. I wonder how Yugabik is going to do, though. I mean, he used to be part of this team a while back when it was still Dawn, and then he got replaced with Serenia. I do know for a fact that him and Iceland Gogo are really good friends. They know each other in real life and everything as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't even realize the fact that they were running with the ringer. So
Yep. Serenia also being the main drafter for Druids, but this looks like a draft that Serenia would draft anyway, so that's really not a big issue. All right, so this pause is taking a bit too long for my own liking. How do you think that matchup of Balfagor versus Tremble is going to go?
if that is the case, I mean, I I think it'll be fairly even. Balfagor should be able to hold his ground, especially because Probusk. I don't see him as being like he doesn't really focus on harassing at all. He usually just he's his main focus is just make sure he gets every creep kill and every deny. So
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I mean, who's going to win the lane? And that could be through last hitting more or getting
probably Probusk. I give the slight advantage to Probusk just because of the way he plays the lane. But I don't think there's going to be any kind of kill potential on Balfagor. Is what I'm saying. And
Yeah, well, we'll see. We can have some roaming coming out from Ice and Gogo and Luna, of course. So that could be the case. But yeah, Probusk does have those mounts to his command, which boosts his regen by a lot. So he's going to be able to stay in the lane and just last it quite comfortably if he is versus that Buffgore. And then the mid lane matchup, it's going to be Kraken versus Moraxis, most likely.
yeah, we see that all the time. I mean, it's just basically trading last hits, waiting for the rotation from Moira to make something happen. So, uh, I don't know. Meraxis is really good at farming. Krake mid too as well. So,
I do ultimately give the advantage to Krake because of the fact that he's a Moraxis. He can get last hits multiple times with his Moraxis ability. And he can make sure to just, yeah, safely get those last hits and even harass the Kraken if necessary.
would Druids have the cojones to run a level one Kongor on Legion side? They have the
No.
team. Did you see them run level one Kongor last week?
No, I did not.
Yes, they did. They popped it
Oh, God.
off, and it was awesome. They didn't even have like the go-to team for it. I forget who they had. Lodestone tanking it with Malakin, and they just kept trading health potions. I think Tempest bought like 4 health potions. They did it so fast. They paused the beginning of the game. As soon as they unpaused, 5 heroes TP'd to the middle lane, and they finished Kongor off before the creeps even spawned. It
That's pretty
was
ridiculous.
it was awesome, but at the same time, if that was a strategy they planned on and going in DreamHack, you got to think that whenever they're on Hellborn team, they're gonna get scouted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, possible skirmish up here already. Moira gets that early rune down. All right, that early ward down. So they're
Yeah,
gonna
then.
see.
And that was a good ward to place because they managed to scout everything out now. The only problem is that they don't actually have very effective vision for in the tri lane itself. So they don't know when someone's going to come in. They're actually turning it around. Here
Moira
it
did
comes.
grab
Tank.
another ward off the courier too.
Yeah, but
Oh, that
Even
Ward
that
of Rev
one,
missed.
yeah, it did barely. Well, by quite a bit, but it's more about if he places this ward for the tri lane, then they're gonna have no wards to spot the rotations. So they need to make sure to place this ward in a location where they're able to spot. There we go, the rotations.
What's that Terra Mount at the Ancients? That's pretty early to be. Is that just for mid rotations or?
Um, well, I think it's so that he can gank because top lane the mound is almost always going to be countered because people just look for it now when they're playing
Yeah.
versus a tremble. They make sure to scout it all out and really just focus on not being ganked by that tremble. So this one isn't going to be countered easily because they don't
Oh,
even
Reason
see it on the
posting
map.
up in the side shop here.
This, yeah, Yugabik, is he going to feed first blood?
Oh, there comes the Magma stun out on the Luna. Blade Frenzy putting in a lot of damage. Charge of Harkon actually misses. No, it doesn't connect on the Luna, so they're going to switch their focus to the Puppet Master. Nice body block coming out. One more attack does it. They get the Bloodless kill onto Zibe. Much better than on the Luna. Counter kill going on the Tank effect, but that's a good trade for Reason, I would say.
I mean, Zibe didn't even level any of his spells and he didn't use anything.
Yeah.
So that was really questionable. And he tanked out the Shards of Harkin, but after that, he should have made sure to just lock one of the range. Yeah, lock down the Moira, I'd say, because the ranged auto attacks are really what do all the damage.
Yes, early game, definitely. So Balfagor doing already. He's manning up against this Tremble. He's putting in the auto attacks using that corpse conversion to keep himself regenerated and yeah, stacking armor too. So he's off to a decent start down there.
And he's able to actually kill the mounds really quickly
Yeah.
with those creeps. So that's another thing to consider. That Tremble's not going to have that comfortable thing that I was actually mentioning earlier on. So my apologies for that, but Probusk still getting in the last hits. He does have more last hits than Zane right now. But damn, look at mid lane. Kraken 380 GPM. He's just making sure to get all those last hits. He didn't get a shield, he doesn't care, he has a splash, and that's all he needs apparently.
Marax is going to try to put a little harassment into him, but yeah, I mean, he'll have Tsunami Charge soon enough.
And now top lane, I mean, they did end up getting the first blood, but Ember
They've
Boy's
lost
getting
ring
nothing
control.
up here.
Or they've lost lane control really bad here.
Yeah, and they did finally end up finding the Word of Sight blocking the pole camp, so they are able to use it now, but I mean, do you think it's too late?
What, to salvage this top tri lane here?
Well, it feels kind of strange now.
I don't
'cause
think so. I think
Swiftlight has boots.
they still have decent kill potential because the Magma stun, the Shards of Harkon, nothing's gonna stop the Blade Frenzy once it's out. Uh-oh.
Yep, very true. And Magma's gonna actually find multiple heroes here.
There goes the Ward of Revelation. Tank effect dropped it down. No sneaking around for Revenant. He gets dropped there. That's what I mean. I mean, even a Luna is gonna melt quick, and even at this point, Puppet Master's only on 600 HP. So
They are gonna go for a kill though.
yeah, they are. Magmus does not have any points into that Sandstorm, so he's gonna get locked down. Mana Sunder onto Puppet Master, not doing much. They get a trade-off kill once again. A Luna falls down, so and Ember Boy's getting credit for all of these kills too. Oh, look at the body block coming out from the Ephemeral Forge. Nice, decent attempt. Unfortunately, Puppet Master got the early boots, so he's gonna get out of there just fine. But yeah, like this is gonna be great for Ember Boy. I mean, he's just stacking up these kills, and I don't see it stopping.
Yep. He's abusing Swiftblade's high damage potential. And I mean, this tri-lane was a great idea, but they don't have anything to deal with that Swiftblade. They have nothing, and now Puppet Master.
Yeah, Zane's taken over. Oh wow, yeah, top lane Puppet Master's gonna eat that Swift Slashes, and he goes down again. Shards of Harkon activated. They want even more. So they're winning top and lane at this point, and yeah, Zane's taken over. It's still really close, but 20-5 versus 16-2 over this Tremble.
So in the end, Bafgor showing that he really doesn't care about the small harass coming out from Tremble. He just makes his corpse conversion. He should get that Ring of the Teacher now as well, so that he actually has some way of sustaining his mana. But
look at him, the body
Tremble
block.
might be in trouble.
Zane using awesome micro skills right there to just take out a huge chunk out of Tremble's health, and at no cost to himself. Meraxis
But
has rotated down here, yeah. He's throwing out those axes. The Quake Stun comes out, Tremble activating that Swarm ability, and Belphegor is going down quick here. Oh, wow, that's a nice rotation. At the same time, though, you leave Kraken
top lane.
dominating. Oh my god, more action at top lane already. Ephemeral Forge being channeled in. Swift Blade activating that Swift Slash, or the Blade Frenzy. Charizard can't connect onto Revenant. He's going to go down here. The Power Throw takes out the Moira illusion, but
They
yeah.
do have a Lava Surge, and there we go. Turn coming in. But
Surge coming out.
Meraxis,
The Meraxis rotating, activating that Matrix ability, melts Magmus instantly, and they've spent a lot of money on ref wards up at this top lane, that's for sure. The Puppet hold is going to put Moira in a bad position, but Kraken rotating, he has that ultimate. Release the Kraken, goes out onto Meraxis. Puppet Master in the background unloads on Moira, but now they lose a Luna. Top wars it is. Revenant rejoining the party. Swiftblade hitting level 6, activating the Dust. He doesn't have enough mana for the Swift Slashes yet, but he's got that battery.
but Boris is here, and now it's Tremble.
Oh, he gets the
Tremble's
battery
here to
charge
join
off.
the
A
party.
bad jump on the Swift Slash's stun coming out on a Revenant. They turn it here. Tremble's afraid. He has to back here, realizing he's in a pretty bad position. The Puppet Master long gone as well.
I mean, he doesn't do the most amount of damage with his skill build, but it really is the build that he should be using. And in the meantime, Balfgor's like, oh, let's push down this tower then.
Yeah,
Taking a bit of its HP away, but
forcing a quick reaction by Tremble, and Tremble comes down here with 0 mana now, so, I mean,
Balfgor should
Balfegor's-
just go for the kill, I think. He has all his minions up, I mean, why not? You have an ultimate, it does quite a bit of damage. Tremble only has 777 HP. It might not be enough, and it might be too much of a dive, but the Legion team really isn't in a position to, you know, counter that.
It's true. They have the TPs, but yeah, I mean, the damage may already be done. But either way, the lane pushes up now, so if he wants to do it, he can try again here. Here comes out the Regurgitate, and yeah, he does a lot of damage already onto that Tremble.
Yeah, of course, he has to be a bit careful now, because Tremble has gone a few creeps with him, and
Here comes
actually-
TP, 2 TPs coming in bottom as Nier rotates.
Is that a dead Moira?
Likely. Oh, he saw Luna though. Or rather, Aluna saw him. What are you doing, Nier? You saw the Aluna! Oh man, he's gonna get bursted down quick here.
And now Balfgor. Nope.
Alphagor, though, a little bit harder to tank down. But yeah, they rotate 3 heroes down there, and I wonder if they spotted Nier going down there, and they anticipated that. That's why those TPs came out.
No, I think they really just wanted to take down Balfgor because
Yeah.
Probusk isn't having the best time versus him. So they want to secure that, you know, Thunderclaw onto that hero, onto Probusk.
Man, but Probusk 3-0 and 0. I didn't even realize he'd been picking up all these kills.
Yep,
That's helping his farm quite a bit.
for sure. He's up to 390 right now, but at the same time, though, look at Owned Me. With that great rotation to top lane, he managed to get a kill and then just continue to farm.
Yeah, as well as Swiftblade 6-0 and 2. That's incredible. He already got his Ghost Marchers. And what do you think the item build is for Immaboy? Being that he is the main carry, will we see that battle Swiftblade or Cleaver perhaps?
Cleaver, it's difficult to say in this game because he's facing 2 carries, and Tremble is for sure going to go for the lightning. So with that item on him, he's going to farm really quickly. So I don't know if a Swiftblade should even try to get a Runed Axe
Yeah.
and try and out-farm him. I think they should just gather up early on with an Abyssal, push up with Zane, and then, you know, because Kraken is doing such a great job, he can initiate the fight. And then Tremble's not going to be fat enough to stop it yet. And, you know, Ziggy
Agreed.
has 210 GPM, so he's not really doing that much.
Definitely agree on that. I want to see Reason get active and just take chances here, as you don't want to fall into that passive gameplay. I think Druids, they're more
Well, I think
experienced at it.
both teams are good at it, I think. They're both experienced in taking it to the late game. I mean, it just feels like
Here
Druids
comes
has
bottom lane.
more late game.
Agnes, will he get the stun off? Yeah, he gets the Lava Surge onto Tremble. They use Release the Kraken, and Tremble goes down immediately. Sitting on just a Warp Cleft and Steam Boots, that's not a problem for them. This probably will be a pretty quick tower, too. And yeah, Balfegor picked up the Plated Greaves, so...
They're just going to take down this tower so quickly. You know those minions from Balfgor? I've seen them hitting up to 80 damage when there's a Warbeast on the side.
Yeah, they
on the-
did. They ran that. Sync ran it, I think.
Sync ran it
Warbeast
with the
and
Warbeast where they let them, where he let them eat them so that he could start off jungling really quickly.
And those things are just deadly in general. Unless you have an escape mechanism, they lock you down with that slow. It's you can't stand and fight them, and if you run, you're dead. It's just like they're
Yeah, what are you
powerful.
gonna do? Only it is interesting to see that Zane is opting to go for Regurgitate over the Silence, because the Silence is also just one of those really strong abilities that I don't think you really want to pass it up, because it does a lot of damage as well. It scales a lot better than Regurgitate.
Ooh, Revenant might get spotted out here. If he does, it could. Oh, stun coming out on a Puppet Master. If Hammer Forge being channeled. Oh, the Puppet Master does interrupt that eruption combination, so they got that going for him. And Puppet Master is going to go out of there. Luna's in a little trouble. Will she be okay? Yeah, she will. Swiftblade up top, fighting and duking out with Meraxis. Meraxis with that Matrix. They're going to tit for tat. The Matrix explode, and Swiftblade deciding not to chase, even though he had 10 charges on the battery. And full rotations mid from Legion. I'm surprised he didn't pursue that.
Well, I don't think he could have caught up with the fact that he had an axe on him.
Yeah.
It's immediately, even with Ghost Marchers, there's a chance that he's not gonna get to him. So he didn't want to waste time.
True that, and he goes the major totem, so we're going to see that build up into an Energizer, and he will most likely be going that battle swiftly, maybe Elder Parasites, PK, stuff like that nature.
Nah, he's still the main carry, so he should go for the Abyssal into maybe even a Dawnbringer. That type of build that you can really just stand up front, be a bit tankier, and then just chase people down. BK is a great item, I think, when he's being played as a suicide, because then it's incredibly important that he picks off key heroes, and as a carry, you just go for everyone pretty much. You
Yeah.
take down the heroes that you think are the easiest to kill.
I would say there's a lot of other options to grab the Abyssal too, though. Kraken, Balfagor, maybe he
Yeah,
could
for
get
sure.
something more offensive, but yeah, Balfagor looks like he's building a Helm of the Black Legion or something with that Beast Heart.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's going to do with it, because Helm of the Black Legion is not something I'd like to see on him right now. A barrier would be far smarter in my opinion. Even though they don't have the most magic damage, it still mitigates the mortification, the power throw, you know, all of that. And then
Yeah.
there's also Meraxis, who does a lot of magic damage. And they're just going for base, and they can.
Yeah. I mean, with this type of aggressive lineup, could that even be an icon? I mean, Balfagor is the type of hero who really stays in the fights for the duration. Uh, who's to say?
Yep. It's they're definitely making the right move, and this prevents Druids from really split pushing effectively. And it
It's the
even
Helm.
looks like Magnus is going for a tablet instead of a PK. See, this is something I don't agree with, because Magnus needs that PK to set up his ultimate perfectly.
Yeah, there's so many ways to stop the ultimate. Luna, Meraxis, and Puppet has two himself, so not to mention a Boris can lock you in place, so you get a bad ult off even if you
Is
channel
Zipping
it.
in trouble?
I don't
He's
think
just
they have
waiting.
any clue he's up there.
Yeah,
He
no
should be
idea.
in trouble, but he's gonna be fine. The missing piece of the puzzle rotates into top lane. Balfagor with 12 charges on that corpse conversion. This is gonna be a. No, I don't see them stopping at tier 1 either.
Yeah, I mean, the Legion team is just confused. Probusk is farming well, but that's really the only thing that they've got going for them right now. And then on the Hellborn side, although I would not have preferred the Helm of the Black Legion, it does make him a really big threat in team fights, because he's just able to keep pumping out those, you know, those minions, keep regurgitating on people, just
Yeah.
in general being a huge deal. And Kraken just getting the pick off on Zibit. Wow.
Oh yeah, haste rune and a portal key. You can see him. He grabbed the helm of the victim, so maybe Kraken going in somewhat of a semi-carry role, perhaps, just
It
in
wouldn't be the
case.
craziest idea, like an
Yeah.
Insanitary is just gonna hit, he's gonna hit so incredibly hard. And now mid lane.
Yo, Revenant in big trouble here. Kraken kind of finish him off with assistance from Moira. Tremble's doing the best he can. I mean, he's avoiding everything, just trying to farm so fast. But it's not only the fact that his team's dying, you know, left and right.
They're just dying everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, he did try to gank once, but it just didn't work out, because Owned Me did such a great job middle versus Kreke with the GPM.
So it looks like they're gonna post up some sort of a defense here at this bottom tower. It's the last outer tower. You gotta wonder. They decided to not defend the other 5 towers. Why start now? But
Yeah, I mean, they it's just so
this tower means
weird.
no
Like
jungle, basically, if they lose this.
they didn't do well enough with the supports on the side of druids. The supports
Yeah,
should have been a lot more active, trying to shut down the Kraken, but because their tri-lane just failed so utterly, it's yeah,
yeah.
nothing they can do about it now.
The supports, they can't even really approach any kind of team fight because they're gonna be dead before they get a single spell off at this point.
Yep.
Like one stun from Magnus and they're at half health.
And I mean, Luna is not even level 6 yet, so he's not even going to be able to stun all the targets on the Hellborn side. Those Zane minions are definitely going to tank up a lot of those
Yeah.
stun hits.
Belphegor grabbing that blood chalice. I mean, he's self-sufficient now. You'll probably never see him go back to base.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Kraken still getting that incentive. Is
Arcane
initiation
Vortex, perhaps? Oh, a nice stun by Luna to prevent that from happening.
but now the
Man.
top is going to
Yeah,
go
the
down.
tower's gonna down because Zibby split out. I mean, a Probus split. He's going off to stack Ancients for himself and farm them, and
I mean, he really needs that Shrunken before they fight, but at this point, I'm not even sure what it's going to do because the Swift Slashes goes through it as well as the Kraken Ultimate. And then on top of that, the Arcane Vortex, of course. Man, like, this is just looking so grim for Druids right now. They got completely caught off guard with that Balfagor pick.
yeah, and he executed it very well. I mean, better than I could even have imagined. I didn't think he would have that much of an advantage, or any advantage, really, but when you think about it, it makes sense.
Top lane. Never mind. Nothing's happening.
Power
That
throw
Ninjas
whiffs.
with Firebrand just doing too much for the Swiftblade. And I mean, look at this. The Hellborn side is farming on all points of the map, and Legion is just trying to gather up and get some pickoffs. But, like, Zibbe just doesn't have enough farm for it. He is going to go for the Shroud instead of the Lightning kind of build that we often see from him.
Yeah.
Which does make sense, but at the same time, like, they have a Revenant. They're stacking Invis, so Moira, after picking up that PK, because look at that farm, by the way, he's just going to pick up an eye and then can be able to completely prevent anything from being overwarded or anything.
Oh, Miraxis is going to initiate on the Balfagor here. When 5 heroes collapsing from Team Druids, they eventually do get him down. So, yeah, you did say that they're taking over the map, but that's a little bit greedy, not to mention they never even countered the ward up on the Mesa. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was just kind of sloppy. Probably a little bit overconfident due to the lead that they've had. But tank
Abyssal
effect.
Skull on the way. Yeah. Swiftblade's getting that Abyssal Skull, and with this powerhouse melee team, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. Magnus and Balfagor don't really auto attack the most, but they're still always going to be there.
Yeah. It's the
I,
damage boost on the aura, too, so, I mean, does that
yeah,
affect the creeps, or is it just hero damage? I gotta check that.
it affects the creeps as well if you
Okay.
want to activate it, but the big deal is going to be the armor, I think. Because that really does a lot in team fights. 5 armor for your entire team.
Yeah, and Legion teams, I mean, the main source of damage is going to be, it's pretty mixed, but there's a lot of physical for sure.
Yep.
So, a bit of counter warding going on here, and Legion team does reclaim a little bit of the map back in terms of their jungle. So, but here we go. I was wondering why Hellborn let up the pressure a little bit. It's because the Kongor attempt is here. Double damage Kraken, yeah. Want to see a bulwark on this team eventually too, I imagine, right?
Yeah, he's going for that kind of tank plus carry route, so a demonic is definitely going to be in the works for him, or even Balfagor.
But trying to siege bases, I think that negative armor would be massive. Anything to stack with the power of Spalfagor and his minions right now before they become kind of irrelevant.
Yep.
Who gets the token? Swift Blade.
Yep. He's not the tankiest, so I do agree with it.
Watch my blade die.
Yeah, Tremble still. I mean, he's farming so fast, but he still can't keep up with Imba Boy because of the kills. We said it last game how important it is for carries to get at least somewhat active, and Tremble is one of those heroes that he can get a lot of kills early on with the Boris and the slow, and he puts out so much damage already. He's got max impalers in the Thunderclaw. I'm surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Like Swiftblade is 6-0-2, but I mean Probosk has gotten the most kills of his team so far, so it's not really that he's not been active. It's just that the game has kind of reached a standstill. The Hellborn side just started pushing towers and Legion started to dodge, so there wasn't really an opportunity for him to pick anyone off because they were never alone.
Okay.
Except for the Balfagor, of course, being really greedy at the hard camp earlier.
Astrolabe completed on Balfagor. Prioritizing that over the Bulwark. Okay.
I mean,
if they're forcing fights, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Astrolabe is, I think it's a good pickup. And now Magnus has the PK, so is this going to be the sign for them to push? They have the token,
Absolutely.
they have the Astrolabe.
The stars are aligned for Reason Gaming, and this is a strategy that's working for them. I'm impressed. This was a difficult draft execute. Here comes the Miraxis stun onto Swiftblade and Balfagor, but that's just what they wanted. They're going to build up charges on that Balf ultimate. He's already at 30, 35. Swiftblade's got the token, so... Oh, here comes the nice Magnus stun. He's just channeling the Eruption. The Kraken ultimate on top of the Balfagor ultimate just completely annihilates Puppet Master and Cracky, but they both instantly buy back. Hellborn team noticed that. They're going to fall back, and they didn't even use the token yet. They force out 2 instant buybacks.
That was such good discipline coming out from the Hellborn side. And I mean, they can just go push again. They have 2-minute 50 left on the token, so they are not in a rush right now. They've got such a huge lead, and they just managed to kill 2 heroes with no cost to themselves, except for the ultimates.
Did Magnus get his eruption off or got canceled? It must have got canceled. I didn't see it.
I think he canceled it, and yeah, he got canceled. Because he tried to channel it right in between the Kraken ulti and everything, but there was a Luna outside, I think. Yeah, a Luna managed to cancel him.
I think I got an idea of how Breaky does the replays, so I'm going to try to figure it out. It'd be awesome to take a look back on some of the fights like that.
Moira might be in trouble at top.
Oh yeah, that's Deb Meyer. Oh! Arcane Vortex for PK is going to be off cooldown unless that Revenant spell procs. No, it doesn't interrupt it. Here comes the power throw. He dodges it! Near with the game sense of a god.
Wait, how did he portal key?
Because the Arcane Vortex reduced the duration of the portal key to nothing, and he got it off before the mortification.
But, I mean, mortification is a constant damage spell. I would assume that it would cancel the PK almost immediately.
I don't know. I mean, he got it off. I saw mortification was still on him, so once again, need to have that replay. He must have had split-second timing on the PK. Mortification maybe it ticks.
Nah, it ticks
It's
constantly.
consistently? I don't know then. Magnus Tremble getting initiated on here. Release the Kraken's gonna lock him down. Swiftblade's joining the party as well as Moira's Ephemeral Forge. And there's nothing he can do. And with Probus down, he has a buyback. They push here on the racks and they're gonna force it. They're gonna force that buyback by him. They still have the token. Everybody's ultimates, Balfagor and Swiftblade back off cooldown. So I see no reason why they not force a push here.
One thing is though, is that Magnus does not have his ultimate right now.
It's been cancelled anyways. There you go. They forced the buyback, and disciplined Reason Gaming falls back. Oh, nice Tsunami Charge, putting Magnus in a really bad position. Miraxis, that is. He's going to use the Arcane Shield and come back in, and they're going to turn on the Kraken, but here comes another huge Balfagor ultimate. It's a double tap for him. Revenant's on the run. Legion team falling back. They have another buyback coming out onto Puppet Master. He's returning to the fight. Miraxis throwing out the stun. Now they might turn it here. Balfagor is actually going to somehow escape. Swiftblade dies, but he's got the token. This fight goes on much longer. Magnus is going to stun into the Arcane Vortex. His ultimate's off cooldown now. They're going to lock down the Tremble here.
To cast it. They do have the lockdown now. Ooh, but they do back off. Spin up in 2 seconds, so they might be looking to turn it.
All they lose, though, at this whole point is a Moira. Now they get the Lava Surge stun off. Probus dies. He has enough for a second buyback. Mirax is going to turn a big Matrax coming out, so they get the counter kill here. Oh, man. Puppet Master getting that hold out on Emma Boy. So reason necessarily, maybe dying a little bit more than necessary, but the
buybacks coming out from the Legion team are just insane there. So They managed to hold, but I really don't think it's going to be enough in the long run.
Yeah, they expose the racks. They snowball Imba Boy up to 520 GPM. I mean, even though they lost a couple heroes there, it's definitely in their favor because Legion team threw away so much gold there on the buybacks, and they barely come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, Zebe didn't even get a kill there, so he's still 250 GPM. They did manage to get something back in terms of experience, but I mean, at this point, the gold is really doing all the talking. Barrier also picked up on Balfagor, so he's going
Wow.
to be impossible to kill.
Yeah, and without a barrier of their own, our Shrunken Heads Legion side,
Iceland.
these AoE ultimates are just unbelievable.
Oh, the charge did manage to hit Iceland, but oh, is Iceland Go-Go in trouble? Never mind, he's not in trouble. So
He lucked
strange.
out there.
I mean, none of them were carrying Dust but Moira, and Moira originally even PK'd away. And of course you can't use Dust when you're using the Ephemeral Forge, so that's quite unfortunate. Otherwise that would have been a kill for sure.
Watch my blade dance.
Alright, so OBS has a built-in replay buffer. I'm experimenting with it right now. Yeah, they're going to be pushing up here again. All their ults are off cooldown. They're ready to take this fight.
No
Huge.
buyback though on Probusk. If he does die now, it's just that's the end.
They do annihilate the creep wave relatively quickly. Mortification plus the Miraxis Quake Stun, but he's got another set of minions ready. And the melee barracks has taken damage already. Ward of Sight popping down by a Uobic, but that's going to instantly get spotted out, removing vision from the background. They're not going to see the counter initiation by Kraken or Moira channeling an Ephemeral Forge. Shards of Heart can go out on Puppet and a Miraxis here. And Balfagor just sitting there building up charges. He's already up to 36 charges, and this is before the team fight breaks out, so yet another huge ultimate in the works for him.
Magnus channeling ulti though.
Oh, the Lava Surge Corruption combo connects onto Miraxis and Revenant. Follow up with the release of the Kraken. Puppet Master got his ultimate onto Kraken, but there goes the Balfagor ultimate in the background. Connects onto a Luna and Puppet Master, but not enough to finish the job. Tremble's getting ulted. He eats every single Swift Slash attack, and another Lava Surge in the background. At the same time, they're trying to pressure the barracks, so whether they win this or not, the damage is done. Probest falls in the background. Near getting credit for the kill. Interesting there.
Oh, Morax is going a bit too far now. He's gonna get turned on, and yeah, not much.
Ripping Pepperinos. The Krake will fall there.
And GG comes out, and
Ooh, Legion
there we
vote.
go.
Calls the vote to concede, and that's it. Reason takes game 1 over Team Druids, and I gotta say, I am impressed.
That was a definite dominating fashion. Like, I think Zane definitely gets the MVP in that game. He just did so well on lane, and of course Owned Me doing so well on lane as well. They just managed to win every single lane, and from then on out, it just snowballed.
That it did. So that's game 1. We still got potentially 2 more games here. So folks, stick around. We're going to take a short break. But yeah, awesome played. I agree with you. Zane on Balfagor, phenomenal. I'm speechless. We're going to go to the break, go. We'll be back shortly. Stick around.